Kunitsu-Gami Path of the Goddess wasn't a game I even knew existed before playing the demo, and that's a real shame because I think there's a lot of interesting ideas on display, things that we don't really see, if at all, in the AAA landscape. Luckily, because I didn't even know it existed, I was able to go in with zero expectations when I booted up the roughly 1 hour of content the demo shows off. It's important to mention that each stage offers a variety of challenges, so there's at least some replay value there. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of the video, I do want to say I have a few concerns, things that I will address at the very end. To kick things off though, let's state the obvious and talk about how gorgeous Kunitsu-Gami is. The art style is so wonderful to look at, and the graphic fidelity on display is exactly what you'd expect to come from a Capcom title, especially one that's running in the RE engine. Now, I play this with performance mode enabled on the PlayStation 5. But what is Kunitsu-Gami actually about? Well, the Path of the Goddess describes itself as a Karuga action strategy game, blending action, strategy, and Karuga, which isn't something I was familiar with before doing a little bit of digging. It's a form of dance theater which literally translates to entertaining the gods. It's something we see throughout the demo. When you dispel a Torii gate, the characters jump into this ritualistic dance while Yashiro, the Maiden of the Mountain, cleanses the area. We play as So, the sworn protector of Yashiro, who's been blessed by the gods to purify the lands. To do that, we'll be facing off against demons across many different stages that can be revisited if you choose to do so. The gameplay loop revolves around So needing to clear a path to the Torii gate so Yashiro can perform her ritualistic dance along it until finally purifying the gate. While Yashiro is performing her ritual, we need to go around the map, cleanse the area of small pockets of defilement, rescue animals, and save villagers from corruption. All the while, day slowly ticks into night, with the day-night cycle baked into the very core of the gameplay loop. When the moon comes out, Yashiro will stop dancing and demons, or Seath as the game calls them, begin emerging from the Torii gate. It's our job to protect Yashiro until morning when she can complete her ritual. But we don't have to fight the Seath alone, as the villagers we rescue can be assigned roles to help protect Yashiro. In the demo, we had access to a woodcutter, the melee class, an archer, pretty self-explanatory, a shaman who's our healer, and a mage who can debuff the enemies. Assigning roles costs mana, which you get by cleansing the area before nightfall. That's why it's really important to make sure you've explored the map as much as possible. Assigning a role to a villager is relatively cheap, but it costs 3 times as much to reassign. Once you've assigned all your roles, you then have to position your villagers around the map, as the Seath have multiple paths to get to Yashiro, and that's where the strategy comes into play. When combat starts, as So, we'll be up close and personal with the Torii gate, taking down the majority of the Seath. So any that get through will be handled by the villagers, provided you've placed them correctly. If not, you get a warning that Yashiro is being attacked, and you'll have to leave the Torii gate unguarded while you race to protect her. So has access to light and heavy attacks, which can be chained to perform various combos, as well as a special attack tied to the R2 button. There's no lock-on mechanic, as the camera is quite free and you can almost turn it 180 degrees. Combat feels fine, it's pretty good, if not slightly floaty. The default dodge button of L3 was a little weird. In fact, I didn't even realize I could dodge until I finished the last stage, and I spent most of the game just guarding. Since I did play this on the PS5, the DualSense controller certainly added another layer to combat, especially when executing So's special attack, with the resistance when pressing the R2 button making you feel like you're charging up and releasing a powerful attack. The boss we were able to face off against in the demo showed off the stagger mechanic. Once the boss is down, we can order all our villagers to attack by tapping the R1 button and then hitting R2. When the boss recovers, we can tap R1 and hit L2 to revert them back to a defensive position, protecting Yashiro. That's really all there is to combat, at least in the demo. Visiting the website shows we'll be able to construct various buildings, which will no doubt play a key component to surviving the swarm of Seath. And that's not going into the accessories you can unlock. I came across one in the demo that significantly boosted my villagers' health. You can also upgrade the roles of the villagers, which grants them new abilities and stat bonuses, as well as equipping new special attacks for So. Overall, Based purely on the demo, Kunitsu-Gami Path of the Goddess is shaping up to be one of the more interesting, if not the most interesting experience of 2024, as there's nothing really out there I can compare it to. It's a real shame that more gaming media aren't talking about it and more content creators aren't showing the game off, as I believe it deserves a good chunk of the spotlight. With that said, I am worried about how this game will work as a full-length video game, as I'm not really sure how much further you can push the depth of combat or how far it will dive into the strategy mechanics, as I can see it getting quite tiresome or at least tedious by at least 4 or 5 hours in. Despite the creativity and polish on display, I do think the price point of $76 is a little bit too much, as it might keep people who are only thinking about checking it out well and truly away. I'd feel a lot better if this price was at $50 to $60, especially when it's coming out day one on Game Pass. Just another reason why I think it's a bit of a cop-out pricing it at $76. However, I strongly recommend everyone to check out the demo. Even if you're not interested in the game, you just don't know what you might find in it if there's something for you, as I really believe we need to encourage creativity, especially in the AAA space. Not to mention, it's free and available on all platforms except Switch. I'll leave a link in the description below to the official website for Kunitsu-Gami Path of the Goddess in case you're interested. The game will be out on July 19th, which is roughly 2 weeks from the uploading of this video. But anywho, that's it for this time. Tell me what you think of Kunitsu-Gami down below. Have you played the demo? Will you play the demo? Are you just not interested in this style of game? Or are you excited about original content in the increasingly stale AAA space? With all that said, like, subscribe, all that YouTube jargon. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.
Huh?